For more stories like these, go to www.social-tv.co.za, subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on our social mediums.
You're listening to our social newscast with me, Sam Marshall, brought to you by www.social-tv.co.za. Today we have a quick chat with James Wooley, who's the CEO of Total Stay, about the aparthotel and serviced apartment sector and how it's ideally positioned to uphold social distancing, sanitizing, and in some instances maybe a little bit better than the traditional forms of accommodation. As a leader in the space, you are obviously having conversations with your peers in the industry. A lot of us, with the industries opening up and a lot of us trying to be very optimistic about the economy, what kind of conversations are you having as an industry?
Look, there's plenty of lobbying at the moment from, the hotel groups and FedHasa and different organizations to try and open up travel as soon as possible. We do feel that we have the relevant health and safety standards in order. So, if guests and travelers want to travel, they should be able to. We have seen, a lot of relaxation of the restrictions over the past weeks and months with, business travel opening, as of the amended level 3. So, we're getting to a place where, it business as usual should resume. Obviously, the buzzword is the new normal. How exactly that might look is anyone's guess, but I think that it's a lot of the initial fear has blown over in terms of how industries might look. Obviously, there's a lot of guys that closed down and who haven't been able to weather the storm, but that just creates opportunity for other guys.
Just talking about that very quickly, how has Total Stay managed to weather this very difficult lockdown? Initially, it was 21 days, and then it stretched almost 4 months.
Look, it's been, we've had to make some difficult decisions in terms of staff who we've kept, who we've let go. The government has assisted us with the UIF TERS program, which has been, contributing towards the salary as majority of our staff. So we've been able to kind of, go into hibernation on some fronts where necessary. And we've also managed to keep a number of our properties open and pivot towards this medium-term stay, which has been very much welcomed by the market. We found a lot of guys who have kind of been in limbo between leases or not sure if and when they want to buy property, and they've been looking for something for between 3 and 6 months, and we've been able to offer that. So our occupancies have been strong, but, majority of our workforce was laid off temporarily. But, slowly but surely we've managed to bring a number of our key staff back. And, going forward, we've had to relook at things, and it's, unfortunately for employees, I believe that, it's not going to be as easy to find permanent employment unless you really have something good to offer. So I think it's been, a time for business to batten down the hatches and look at their payroll and say, who do I really need going forward? Who can I outsource to? Who's better to bring in on contract? And it's just been a time for everyone to really tighten their belts.
James, we're near to the end of our interview. I just want to ask you 2 more questions in terms of just kind of the airlines are slowly getting back to business. The country's borders are still locked. From a Total Stay perspective, your market, is it local? Is it international? Is it a combination of both? And if it's international, when do you start seeing travelers coming back into the country?
Our business is a mix of international and domestic travel, depending on the season. There was unfortunately some media that got out that was published on a number of big international travel websites that we were going to keep our international borders closed until into next year. And that was, incorrect information, and subsequently, a number of press releases have gone out to say that that's not true. But I do think that that's been potentially damaging to our destination. We're hoping from our side that international travel into South Africa will start being allowed from September this year, and that's what everyone's pushing towards. The prices in the market have, obviously come under pressure. Your average daily rate for hotels, but as a lean and a nimble business with quite a dynamic offering, we've been able to move with that market and remain competitive. Where a lot of guys, unfortunately, it won't make sense for them to continue operating under these types of conditions. So but I think that type of thing, I think, is healthy for a free market. I think it's healthy for prices to find a median. We survived through the water crisis, and we saw prices come down up to 40-50%. But they were becoming overheated, and South Africa was, and especially Cape Town and the Atlantic seaboard where we operate, was becoming seen as an expensive destination. Accommodation was more expensive than a lot of international cities, and as a long haul destination, that doesn't really help our cause. So I think the water crisis was a good time for everyone to come back down to earth and realize that tourism is not a meal ticket to take advantage of. And this crisis has been more of the same, obviously intensified a little bit. So I think these types of crises are good for us as a destination in Cape Town, to grow and become more mature and to be sustainable year round. And we embrace everything that's come at us, and we're going to come out of this stronger than ever.
You have a very healthy outlook, James, in terms of where we find ourselves. Is this also an opportunity, when you talk about opportunities, to really then start looking at South Africans who do travel? We've seen a fantastic campaign with the restaurant industry to get South Africans to contribute to a fund to start getting, the moment restaurants are open, which they are now, to start getting back into restaurants. Is this maybe a fantastic opportunity to start marketing to South Africans who enjoy traveling and say, in order for us to stay open, you have to consider us as part of your holiday end of year program or your long weekend stay?
Very much so. I think a lot of it comes down to price, and the prices at the moment across the board are under pressures. And I've seen a lot of good campaigns, and I've seen a lot of good specials being advertised, from game farms to lodges to villas to hotels. It's a great time for the local industry to promote itself back to South Africans. Also, maybe because of the fears of COVID, South Africans won't be traveling to Europe or to the States or to Asia, this coming year. So, a good opportunity for them to travel within South Africa.
James, thank you very much for your time.
Great. Thank you so much for the call.
Thanks, James. Okay, that's James Wooley, who's the CEO of Total Stay, talking to us about the aparthotels industry and the opportunities that exist within our borders, South Africa, but also in the serviced apartment space.